So this is way late, and I don't know if anyone's going to be able to come on, but I am here and I want to do the reading tonight, but we'll see. It might just be what we see going on here. So we'll see if people can get on or not. But in any event, or it might just be literally me reading, which is totally okay. So actually, yes, it's me, Lily. It is me late, and yes, it might just be me and you. We will see. We will see. We will see. I hope everybody's good. It's been a crazy few weeks. I'm sorry you were worried. Yeah. Might just be basically, like I said, just a chapter reading, which is cool. Yeah, no, everything's fine. Everything's good. I have a very good friend of mine who is unfortunately, she's got the big C and she's had it for a long time. And I have been going out with her now once a week that I've been in the new house to spend time with her, and have the good times while the good times can roll. And it ended up coming later than I thought. And I didn't want to cut off that time, though I wanted to be with you guys. She has, more of a limited time. And so I really am trying to make that count. So I do apologize for being late and having to cancel last month's, but that was because I was moving into the house. I am in the house, which is amazing. Still a lot going on, still a lot of crazy, to be honest with you. But yeah, I hope you all are doing well. I am, like I said, I'm very happy to be with you guys. Things will get back to normal-ish, or hopefully better than that for all of us, right? So, but I'm so sorry I worried anyone. Also, Kat's on vacation, so I couldn't contact her to let you guys know that it would either be delayed or it was going to be late, and I can't get into Restream IO on my phone. So it was like, oh, okay, this is great. But in any event, I do apologize for that, but I figured you guys would understand when I let you know what was all happening. So what we're going to do tonight, thank you, Crystal. That's very kind of you. I really want to say that she's an amazing person. And I met her through another friend, I should say a partner of my best friend, who is also a friend of mine. But I had not been as close to her, and I then decided that I always enjoyed her company, and then I realized I feel like I'm going to talk a little bit weirdly about. I don't know if you guys ever had this situation. So, as you guys know, my mom died about 2 years ago, which completely reinvigorated me to embrace life in a big way, where I, finally left my COVID bubble. I bought a house, and then I had it vastly remodeled and redone. It took 2 years. I moved in. We've done a lot of really cool things in that time. I've really tried to, not just work and hunker down, but be with a lot of people. And when I got into the house last month, it has been a really invigorating experience. I know it's sort of a house of my dreams. and it's meant to have a lot of people over. And I had a big party for the neighborhood and my friends and family. And I've just been saying to the day job, although ironically, I think I've been much more efficient at the day job and better, that I'm, taking a lunch, I'm taking a walk, I'm going to go hug my cat, I'm going to go out with my friend once a week, for dinner, and my brother, and, see everybody. And, I've really like done that. And I'm glad I'm doing it. And I think ironically, or not ironically, I'm sure all of you are not surprised that, of course, the writing gets better when you are more involved and out there. And I think I've done some of my best work since I've been doing this. Hey, Ebony, nice to have you with us. So, Lily, I'm sorry that you had a family member for sure. And so that's just been like something that's been coming up. So I had intended to get here in time, but we had a bunch of delays and I wasn't able to. And then I thought, well, I'll reschedule it. But then I was looking at the schedule going out and I'm like, I can't promise it'll happen. So I better just do it now. And we just see who shows up. And there's just about 8 of us. So it's all good. So, oh, goodness, I'm coughing. I'm going to need to get a drink, I think. Anyway, so tonight, what we're going to be doing is a live reading of chapters 137 and 138 of Empire of Stars. So if you have been following along, you're all good to go. Or if you've been, reading as a Raythe member, you already know what's all happened here. If you are new and you somehow stumbled upon us, welcome. Later on, I do recommend you start at chapter 1. There's a lot of spoilers, and I can help myself. I basically love giving things that I'm going to do that I'm not going to do. So for members who know, I added an extra chapter of Everdark Equinox by accident instead of my Empire of Stars. And I wanted to, but we're doing 3 chapters this month. As we get closer to the end, it's much, much harder to write. I think I always feel like I don't want to end it, but I'm like, no, this has got to happen. So I thought I would be able to stuff it in, but I can't with this extra I'm doing and a bunch of other things. And I would rather give you quality than quantity, although you're still getting the same quantity, just an extra chapter of Everdark Equinox last month. But we're having 3 chapters of Empire of Stars this month. So as we wrap towards the end, and just so you know that, it's really like in the 200s now. So it's like, woo! All right. So let us start with chapter 137. I'm going to read it. I will probably read it in one go. If you have questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section and I will legitimately get back to them once I come back to the Restream IO screen. But let's start this thing. Chapter 137, Cold. Jace and Khoth ran through the halls of the Osiris, the knowledge that Dr. Isa had been infected with the crystal having reverberated in his mind in an instant. He also knew that there was no point in running to the doctor's last location, as they could not enter. It wasn't just the Osiris who was forbidding it. It was Dr. Isa herself. Yet they ran. Pilot, people will become alarmed seeing you running, Dr. Isa gasped out over his comm. She was right. They were alarmed. People scattered to every side of him as they rushed down the hallways. Not a few of them had called out to him or Khoth. Luckily, Khoth had been able to speak coherently and with some command as they ran by. Be calm. Return to your duties, Khoth cried, for which Jace was eternally grateful. But, Commander, what? Return to your duties, Khoth shouted as they continued to run. Wide-eyed looks followed after them. Jace knew that his own expression was wrenched out of any semblance of calm. You can't come in here. You can speak to me wherever there's privacy, Pilot, Commander, Dr. Isa continued. No one can come inside here. No one at all. She had her helmet off. Already there was a lacework of crystal working up her cheek into her hairline. It was red and pulsing with strange light. Her right hand lifted up to it, shaking. She shook her hand and her glove retracted. She ran her fingertips over the crystal veins. Don't touch it, Dr. Isa, Jace demanded. We might be able to stop the spread. You should keep your hard suit on. It's too late, pilot. I can already feel it moving down my chest, she told him. But it's only been a few minutes, Jace cried out in shock. He grimaced. He was trying to keep his cool. He was failing. Yet it had been only a few minutes. A few minutes. How could things get so dire so quickly? I should never have agreed to her going in there. I should have isolated it in a dropship. Hell, I should never have brought it aboard the Osiris. I should never have let Endon take it from the planet, he thought. The cool were right to make the place off limits. Considering what he had talked to Dr. Kerr about not that long ago, saving everyone by being extremely clever, suddenly seemed incredibly dumb. He was dumb, arrogant, ignorant, stupid, so stupid. And Dr. Isa was going to pay for it. Everyone might pay for it. I know, but life is lived in minutes, seconds, milliseconds. Dr. Isa chuckled dryly as she struggled to sit down on a block the Osiris had raised for her. So is death, I suppose. We already have doctors on this, the best. Well, the best after you, Jace told her. There's not going to be enough time, she answered. She was rubbing the increasingly glowing line of crystal on her face. She winced in pain. Of course there is. We will find the time, Jace insisted, as he and Khoth careened around another corner. Unless you can stop time, pilot, Dr. Isa said as she stared at her shaking hand. I don't think. We can, Jace cut her off. We're arranging to bring a cryogenics chamber to you, Dr. Isa, Khoth informed her as they skidded to a halt in front of a lift. No! Her hand dropped from her face as alarm filled it. We can't risk opening the doors. I was infected in moments when the plastic glass of the container and the hard suit cracked. Moments! We're bringing it from the outside, Jace explained. She was suddenly on her feet again and staggering towards the door behind which the crystal lay. You didn't eject the chamber, did you? The lift opened. A gaggle of crew members stared at them for a moment, but then he and Khoth were soon surging inside. Sorry, guys, but we need this to be a one-way lift, Jace said. All the previously numbered floors were unlit, and only the one that led to Dr. Isa's floor lit up. He urged them to get out. They all did. They stared at him as the lift door shut. Is everything okay, pilot? One crew member asked. Everything's fine, Jace waved. His hand went to his forehead the moment that their view of him was cut off. He scrubbed it over his face. Fine? Everything was fine? No one believed that. And it was the opposite of fine. You didn't eject the crystal, did you? Dr. Isa repeated as she fisted one hand against the closed door. We didn't eject the crystal. We might need the source of the infection to cure you, Jace said through gritted teeth. So it has to stay. But it's safe. Now, we think. The Osiris wanted to eject the room, the crystal, and Dr. Isa with it. He could still see the image it offered him of all three things floating into space. He could imagine Dr. Isa's face icing over and distending as extreme cold and vacuum took her life faster than the crystal could. The infection is spreading at an exponential rate, the Osiris reminded him. Dr. Isa is already experiencing discomfort, which will increase to agonizing pain. How would you know what agonizing pain is? You don't have a body, Jace reminded it. I know it because you know it, the Osiris said. Jace gritted his teeth. Yes, the Osiris knew about pain, his pain, so much pain. But he guessed what Dr. Isa would feel as she was transformed would be worse. The Osiris knew emotional pain too, though it wouldn't admit that. Even when I was in agony, I never wanted to die. Dr. Isa does not want to die, Jay said. We are not going to let her die. None of my scans reveal any way to stop the infection. It is unclear how she was infected. It is almost as if the sound caused it, the Osiris mused. We'll figure it out. Crystal formation stops in cold temperatures, right? Jay said. Freezing her will stop the crystal from multiplying, hopefully. Normal crystal formation does, yes, but this is not the same. We have to try, Osiris. I'm not losing Dr. Isa. I'm not losing anyone. Yet by keeping the crystal and Dr. Isa inside this ship, you may lose everyone, the Osiris said quietly. It's a risk, but what would you have me do? Forget that? I know exactly what you would have me do. Eject them all, but that's not happening, Jace told it. I'm surprised you're not going an hour on about how Dr. Isa being infected is a good thing, because it shows us just how effective the crystal could be against the cool. While human physiognomy is quite a bit different from the cool, it likely would be as effective. Thank you, Osiris. I figured that out, Jace said. Then how do you intend to get the cryo chamber to me? You cannot open any of the doors. Dr. Isa's voice cut through his communication with the Osiris. The crystal the crystal chamber has an outside access port. Instead of using that to reject the room, we will use it to put a cryogenic chamber inside. Flight Commanders Thama and Parker, along with Gehenna, are already doing this. That's a risk you should not take. The cryo chamber, not keeping the crystal. She fanned her face as if experiencing extreme heat, because you might be able to still use it against the cool. Her body temperature had risen to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. She was running a fever, likely so that her body was more hospitable to the crystal that was growing inside of her. When he reviewed the memories of the hive, he realized that the temperature had been elevated inside compared to the one that had been above Earth. When he compared the cool there to those they had fought in Hassian and on Earth, their temperatures had been lower too. He hadn't noticed it, but not noticed it. He had noticed it, but not noticed it at the same time. I should have had the room super chilled, Jace thought. I didn't take enough precautions. Hell, again, I shouldn't have even brought it here at all. Your analysis at the time was sound, the Osiris agreed. I believe your discussion with Dr. Kerr had convinced you that saving every member of the crew is unlikely in this war. No, I mean, yes, that is illogical, as your answer cannot be both yes and no. The Osiris sounded tart. I wish I could appreciate your tartness right now, but you know that I'm telling you the truth. I believe both things. No, I know one thing and hope for the other, Jace told him. You did not ask me the odds of your hope succeeding, Osiris said. I never asked for the odds, Osiris. You know that. Odds destroy hope. Hope destroys odds. I admit that it would be good to be a little cooler. I am so hot, Dr. Isa gulped. She tugged at the collar of her hard suit as if that was making it hard to breathe. He could see the glowing lines of crystal disappearing underneath the top of it. Jace's own breath became strangled. Khoth reached over and gripped his nearest hand. Jace felt a wave of gratefulness go through him. He held onto Khoth's hand tightly. I don't hear the crystal in here. Not in my ears, anyway, Dr. Isa said. She pointed to her temple. But I do in here. It's like a ringing, a low, constant ringing. Is it commanding you to do anything, Dr. Isa? Khoth asked. She shook her head. Not that I'm consciously aware of. I have no desire to try and open the doors to get it to it or to escape into the ship and infect others, if that's what you're worried about. But that might come in time. One wonders how long it took before the cool were ferrying the stuff everywhere. I am certain that you would fight such commands with everything you have inside of you, Dr. Isa, Khoth told her, and I know that what is inside of you is formidable. She gave a weary smile. You will honor me with such words. I must say that I am so glad that I've gotten to meet both of you, all the crew, actually. You could tell them that yourself, Dr. Isa, when you are recovered, Khoth said. You know better than to make such assumptions about what is going to happen. I think the pilot is running off on you, Commander. She smiled softly again. Not that this is a bad thing. I can tell how happy you both are together, and it makes me happy too. All of the crew, actually. We believed we were discreet, Khoth admitted, even as his thumb caressed the back of Jace's hand. Love like yours can't be hidden, nor should it be, she said. It brings me hope just seeing it. She tugged on the collar of the hard suit again. In irritation, she slammed her hand against the center of her chest, and the hard suit fully retracted. She put the hard chip on the seat beside her. She wore a white undersuit that was unzipped part way. Sweat coated her skin. She breathed heavily as if she wasn't getting enough air. He saw her jaw clench. Her vitals were spiking. Her temperature was continuing to rise. Osiris, show me what's here. I need to see. She directed the Osiris to her chest. All three of them saw that the crystalline structure was running down the veins and arteries of her torso. His own chest went tight. It was everywhere, not localized to where it had entered on her face or even her neck and shoulder. So fast, so damned fast, Jace thought. At this rate of spread, I estimate that her system will be completely overcome in 13 of your Earth minutes, the Osiris said. We'll get her in the cryo chamber before then, Jace said. And what will you do exactly when she is in the cryo chamber? Take it out of the crystal chamber through the opening? You are hoping that any infectious material will be destroyed by the cold of space? No, we're going to put the cryo chamber into the dropship, Jay said. We'll keep her isolated out there. Thama and Dad will have left the dropship in the mechs, so they won't be re-entering it. Gehenna will stay. Then we will keep the dropship attached by a tether. Once we figure out a cure, we'll bring it over to the ship and leave it for Gehenna to collect and administer. You are assuming there is a cure, or that we will find it in enough time. We cannot move with the dropship tethered, the Osiris pointed out. What if the Cool locate us? They won't. You cannot know this, the Osiris said. Before they were destroyed, the Cool undoubtedly alerted their brethren about our activities on the planet. We'll figure it out in time, Jace insisted. Oh, my. Well, that's fascinating. You're recording all of this, aren't you, Osiris? Dr. Isa said as she pulled her suit open further to check the spread. Yes, Dr. Isa. I am recording everything, including all of your vitals, and we'll be using all the data to help you, Dr. Isa, Jace said. Daraja, pilot, she laughed. I think I would like to have you call me that in my potentially last moments. And Jace, but we already do know one another. We're friends. I'd like to think we're friends. I want to become better friends, Jace said. I would like that very much too, she said. And we are friends. Most certainly. That is why I need to tell you something. You need to keep your strength. Pilot. Jace, she smiled. Her smile turned into a wince of pain. I need you to know that this is not your fault. He was speechless for a moment. That was thinking of him and how he was taking this was definitely a leadership failure. He was clearly not keeping a poker face. He told her, It actually is, because I'm in charge and I wanted the crystal. Yes, and that was the correct decision. We just underestimated its abilities. We won't do that going forward, she said with such certainty. I think it's too dangerous to keep. No, it's too dangerous not to use against the Cool. She sank back down onto the seat, resting her elbows on her knees as she breathed raggedly. Imagine what this can do if you simply inject it into one of the hives on the Cool homeworld. My God, Jace, it will take them out. All of them. It moves so fast that they won't be able to react. Even once they realize it's happening, their only hope will be to destroy their homeworld. And I don't think they'll want to do that. Jace and Khoth were running down more hallways. They reached the door that was 2 rooms away from where Dr. Isa now was. And it was as they both stood there, staring at it impotently, that Jace realized just how right she had been about the pointlessness of running to her. They couldn't get any closer. Even if he was willing to risk himself, he wouldn't risk Khoth or the rest of the crew. I will never open that door for you, pilot, the Osiris said firmly. I could order you. No, I will not obey. Osiris, no. Do not ask this of me, pilot. I cannot be without you. The last was said so softly. Osiris, there is only one of you, only one. I know, I know, Dr. Isa continued. This is a solution to the Cool, Jace. So I need you not to mourn me if I cannot be cured. Daraja, coming here, doing this, is a dream, she whispered. A grand dream like all of life. But we must wake from it sometime. She sagged forward and did not speak. He could see more lines of crystal running up the back of her neck. Gunna, where are we at getting that cryo chamber to Dr. Isa? Jace caused. Almost there, Jace. Gehenna told him, her normal perkiness dimmed. I need you to be there now, Gehenna, he commanded, even as he knew that she was working as hard and as fast as she could, as anyone could. Will it be in time? Will it be enough? Daraja, I need you to hold on. Please, hold on, Jace told her. We need you to keep this dream going. We want you as part of this dream. I will always be a part of it, she breathed without raising her head. You will never forget me. I won't, but there's far more for you to do, far more memories for us to make, he told her. Khoth's love for him flowed through their bond. Izael, Khoth said. He did not need to say more. His love and caring and concern was all there. No, 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 I will not give up. Not yet, not ever. His vision shifted to the outside of the ship and the armored mechs that Thama and his father were piloting. The dropship was already untethered. They were holding the human-sized cryo chamber between them. Gehenna had chosen her cleaning bot form. She was lifting the latch out of the way with two of her arms. She moved backwards, anchoring herself to the Osiris, while the two mechs clanked over to the opening. There is an inner hatch. I will equalize the pressure inside and outside the room before I open this inner hatch, the Osiris said. That might destroy the crystalline entity. I have surrounded it with another containment system, but the cold of space is cold. Yeah, I got it. It's fine. It's a risk we need to take. Dr. Isa is more important than the crystal, Jace said. Again, we may need the crystal to cure her or to attack the cool. Doing this is a large risk. We have to do it, Osiris. There's no choice. There is a choice. Dr. Isa perishes. The crystal is saved. We use it against the cool, the Osiris said. The doors to the lift opened. Jace was already moving, pulling Khoth after him like a large blue kite. Don't ever say that again, Osiris, Jace said. It's not an option. Losing people isn't an option. Even as he sent the words, Jace felt like he was failing to save Dr. Isa, failing to keep the crew safe, failing to be a strategic leader too. What the Osiris was saying was sound, but it was awful, and it was not who Jace wanted to be. But what if it causes more to die? What if we lose the crystal, and that makes the war with the cool last longer? Or what if we can never defeat them, so countless are killed? He thrust those thoughts from his mind. There were possibilities. But who was he fighting this war for if people not like Dr. Isa? For Dr. Isa. He would find a way to make this work. And only if there was truly no hope would he stop. But that was not now. Equalize the pressure, Osiris, Jace said. We're following my plan. And that is the end of 137. Oh my God. In any event, I'm so glad that you guys are still with me. Yeah, this leisurely panda, this sums it up. This is a rough part of the story. I feel like Jason's going to struggle a lot through this. Yes. This was really, I really like, yeah, you hear me rawing. She's doing this all the time. You use in the background. She's like having such a good time. But what I wanted to say about this was I really struggled a lot with this because I felt like I should be willing to kill a character, you know, e- even one as beloved as Dr. Isa, if the story called for it. And I was worried that by not killing her, that I was, bowing to pressure or something, or that I was just not, killing my darling, so to speak. And then there was another part of me was like, should it have been Khoth who got infected? And I really like the storylines that have branched out. But as you guys know, I don't do a lot of pre-planning. I let the story unfold. But I think if I were, doing the more traditional romantic rather than sort of like group in EOS, that I would have done it where Khoth got infected. I don't know if that would have been more or less impactful, because I really do feel like I love this character of Dr. Isa, and I think she really adds to the story as another thing. But I also, for those of you who are, I'm not going to say what happens where we are now, but this part where what Khoth is playing right now, what he discovers is really fascinating to me. And so I'm really excited about it. But that's my thoughts there. Um, yeah, this is like it's very like it's the worst. It's absolutely the worst. And Jace does feel so guilty, but I'm sorry, Frederica. I was not I'm fine and I'm just fine. I did not forget. I was just delayed. So in any event, miss you guys too. Um so I'm sorry that it's been crazy for you too. Just oh God, Leisurely Panda, I'm so sorry. Please get better. I always feel like I'm playing Russian roulette with COVID because I'm a diabetic too, but anyone can get long COVID. It's really depressing, man. Um, I think having Khoth would have been so painful. Yes, I think there could have been the two things, but I guess I like where it's ended up, for sure. And I really wanted to do more of a Star Trek. It ended up being more of a Star Trekking feeling, although I think that's successful. But I love the beginning of this story the best, where it was sort of like Jace, learning to be this. But I think it naturally became what it became. So there's that. So I'm really like, yeah, I'm excited about it, and everything like that. But sad it's going to end and everything. Um, one of the longest stories out there. So, all right, we are going to go on to number 138. Chapter 138, Siren Song. Taraja was so hot. Sweat poured down her skin like a river. Her eyes stung with it, dripped off her chin, soaked her undersuit, and slicked her spine. But even as she burned, she froze. She started to shake. Wrapping her arms around herself, she managed to ask the Osiris her temperature. 101.5. The Osiris answered. A fever. Of course, in reaction to Daraja's words were cut off as she felt a sharp, stabbing pain in her lower abdomen. With trembling hands, she undid her undersuit without shame, even though she was certain that Jace, Koth, and a variety of her colleagues would see her bra and underwear. But she needed to see what had caused the pain. She let out an involuntary gasp as she saw the webwork of crystals following her veins and arteries across the planes of her stomach. She reached down and pressed her palm over them. The veins felt hot, hotter than her skin, yet they were not hard. She supposed if they had been, they would have literally sliced through her body. Was it liquid instead of crystal? How strange. How very, very strange. If only she could focus enough to appreciate what was happening. But her mind was getting fuzzy and with fever. In fact, she was starting to see things out of the corners of her eyes. In an instant, she thought she saw a tower of shimmering crystals stretching up towards a red sky. Her head jerked towards a hallucination, and there was, of course, nothing there other than the white decontamination room. But then, out of the corner of her other eye, she thought she saw a blue lake of crystal. Light flowed through it like the aurora borealis. It was beautiful. She tried to just barely move her gaze towards it to see more, but the image faded. I'm hearing a ringing in my ears, Osiris, and having hallucinations, she said. Describe the ringing and what you are seeing, Osiris requested. She licked her lips, dry, salt, sweat. Her thirst was increased and not quenched. Her lips felt hot and cracked, but she forced herself to speak. She wanted a record of this, not just for herself, if she survived this, but for the others so it might help. The ringing reminds me of my daughter's wedding. A guest ran a wet finger over the top of his and other guests' wine glasses. The way the crystal rang is what I hear now. Hold on, I'm just editing this. It's almost musical, but a little discordant. She let her head tilt back. She stared at the ceiling unfocused, and the images of her daughter's wedding were interspersed with planes of crystal so vast and perfect that her breath caught. Her daughter's wedding dress turned into a shimmering concoction of crystals that clicked and rang as her daughter moved. Colors that she had never imagined spread inside of those crystals, as if the hard top was but a crust and liquid was beneath. Her daughter's husband and the guests turned into towers of crystal that thrust up from the earth in magnificent mountain ranges, purples, blues, oranges, reds, yellows, and mores. Beautiful, she murmured. Doctor? The Osiris sounded sharp. I'm sorry, Osiris. I'm seeing. How do I even explain it? She sputtered out an explanation that could not fully communicate the delicate beauty and magnificence of the crystal world. How could she explain the flowers at her daughter's wedding becoming a field of crystal nubs, all glowing and pulsing with the colors of the sun? The ringing has become less strident, she said with another lick of her lips. It's changing, almost as if it is tuning to me. You believe that the ringing is not a physical symptom, but an attempt to communicate? Osiris asked. Not sure. She rolled her lips together. It felt like there were hard bits just underneath her skin. She imagined her lips covered with a layer of crystal instead of lipstick, a color that had never been seen on Earth. It's trying to reach me, fix me. I don't know. My mind is... She lifted her hands and gestured towards her head. Were there crystals forming in her brain? Were they cutting off blood flow? Was she going to lose her ability to think? Even if she survived this, what would she be when they brought her back? Her mind had been her way out of a hard life. She hadn't shied away from danger and looked for a life of ease, but her mind had allowed her to become a doctor, to reach heights that her own family had not been able to. To lose her mind was to lose herself. Based upon the rate of spread, you believe I have 13 minutes before all my systems are impacted. Is that still true? She asked with a dry swallow. Daraja watched as the veins crept over her stomach. Their movement was observable with the naked eye. She licked her sweat-coated lips, tasting salts and blood, and shivered. She pulled the undersuit closed as chills assaulted her. She cast around for anything to wrap herself in, but there was nothing, of course, in the decontamination chamber. Put your hard suit back on, Doctor, Osiris told her. Its temperature controls can assist you. She nodded as she reached for the chip that she'd placed by her side. Her alarm grew as she saw just how badly her hand was trembling and how hard it was to scrape the chip up from the seat. It took all her mental concentration to slap the chip against her chest. It flowed outwards, encasing her in the comforting yet confining hard suit. Could you adjust the temperature for me, Osiris? She asked weakly. Of course. I will monitor it and adjust as needed, Osiris promised. Your tone, she said and swallowed. Tone. I assure you, Doctor, that I have no angry... Not angry. Kind, she connected. You're kind. She closed her eyes and licked her lips. More salt. She was thirsty, so thirsty. I am putting your helmet up. There is water for you to drink stored in the suit, the Osiris said, not remarking on her kind statement. The helmet went up around her head, and the HUD came up over her face. A small straw ejected from the side of her helmet. She eagerly took large swallows of water that wasn't cold or hot, but thankfully neutral. If it had even been cold, she would have shivered more and would not have been able to swallow it down. The air in her suit circulated over her skin, drying her sweat but keeping her warm. Her muscles still wanted to contract to keep her warmer. She pulled her legs up to her chest and wrapped her arms around them. Even doing that was exhausting, and she sat quietly again with her eyes closed. Daraja? Jace's voice had her eyelids fluttering open. Ghana is bringing the cryo chamber through the outer hatch. As soon as both it and she are inside, we'll repressurize the room and you'll be able to enter. Good, she said through chattering teeth. She'll help get you into the chamber. You won't have to do anything, Jace promised her. She nodded as words seemed beyond her. Hold on. We've got you, Jace promised. She gave a shaky smile. I feel you all around me. You were kind too. So kind. So rare for someone with so much power. The last was said softly and almost without thought, or rather she'd meant to keep the thought to herself. No one spoke to Jace about his power, almost as if they were afraid that he'd suddenly realize he could be a tyrant if he wished. That was ridiculous, of course. Not that he could become a tyrant. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, she paraphrased the famous quote. But she didn't have to worry about Jace, not right now at least. He was well aware, too well aware, of his limitations. Perhaps it was because he had lived a life that had been so circumscribed by his physical ailments that he'd become aware of the limits of his own power. I don't want you to regret any of this, Jace, she said as she found herself standing a crystal plane, standing on a crystal plane of pure blue and gold. What shouldn't I regret? Jace's voice was thick with that emotion. Exploring, attempting something hard, taking risks. It has to be done, she said. It will have to be done more safely, Jace said. It can't always be done safely. Being on this journey means that along with the wonders and the joys are the dangers and terrors. But I embrace those too, she told him. The blue and gold plain spread out before her. The red sky was endless. There was a massive crystal tower about 100 feet from her. It dwarfed all the others. There was another difference between it and all the surrounding crystals. It was black, but not ominous, more like midnight distilled. She squinted and thought she could see red swirls moving within it like blood, or like the red in the crystal in the other room when it began to vibrate. She took a step towards the black crystal, even though she remained seated in the decontamination room. I don't want you to worry about me, Daraja, Jace insisted. You need to concentrate on whatever helps you hold on. Your family. Why didn't you tell me about them? They're grown, she said as she took another step. Well, we always think we need our parents. I knew that I could leave them for this adventure because I'd raised them well. We do need our parents, Jace said quietly. I need mine more than ever. My dad's outside, Daraja. He's going to help you. Your father is a brave man, a hero, like you, she said. It comforts you that he and your mother are alive, and you were able to speak to them, hug them. But even if they were not, you can still speak to them, because they are inside of you. Always. They are more than what's inside of me, Jace's voice caught. She smiled. Did her cheeks crack? Like crystal breaking. Her mouth was still able to move, but it was stiff. She was halfway to the black crystal in her vision. She no longer saw the decontamination room. She hardly knew that she was still there. Only Jace's voice anchored her to any understanding that there was someplace other than the crystal plane. The best parts flow through you. It will be up to you to honor them. My children are strong and resourceful. They are kind and generous, Darasha said with pride tinged with sadness. If there was nothing about this life, she would not see what they did. If there was nothing after this life, she would not see what they did or what her grandchildren would become. She would not be there to offer a hug or a kiss or a comforting word. She hoped that what she had already given would reverberate. She knew that it would, but would it be enough? Had she done enough? And what about her work on the Osiris, on this mission? It was nowhere near done. She paused in her walking towards the black crystal. There was an opening at the base of it that hadn't been there before, or she hadn't noticed. A doorway, more than large enough for her to walk inside. And while it had seemed completely black, other than those red swirls before, the interior of the crystal was anything but dark. It was lit up with a brilliant glow, golden with some tinges of red. It reminded her of seeing the sun behind her eyelids. Daraja, your temperature's increased, Jay said with a touch of alarm in his voice. She blinked, trying to focus on the HUD, trying to see the HUD, which would show her all her vitals. But she could only see the crystal world. And when she blinked, it hurt. It felt like there was something sharp and hard covering her eyes like contacts that were too thick. Her eyelashes felt heavy too, as if they were laden with too much mascara. What? Daraja, the cryo chamber is fully within the next room as is Gehenna, Jason lit at her. His voice was crisp, controlled, as he tried not to let his alarm shine through so clearly. The opening to the black crystal was nearer than before, though she had not been aware of continuing to walk towards it. Of course, she wasn't really walking. Some part of her knew this. She was imagining this, hallucinating this. The ringing is music, she said softly. It was. It was no longer ringing at all, but the hum of women's voices. She imagined her ancestors all singing a single note that rose and swelled. It was calling to her. They were calling to her to join them and know their knowledge, know them. There's someone, she breathed, in the doorway. Gehenna hasn't opened the door yet, but she's going to in 30 seconds, Raja, Jay said. Just hold on. They were vaguely humanoid shape, but seemingly made up of sharp shapes, But then those softened. The figure turned from uh, the figure turned from a fuzzy, almost blurry silhouette to a fully realized person. It was a woman with dark skin and eyes. She wore an iro and buba, which wrapped her form, and a loose blouse, along with a gele on her head, which was all traditional Nigerian clothing. The material was a brilliant blue with gold stitching. Gold sandals covered her elegant feet. She had one hand resting on the doorway into the black crystal. A smile played on her graceful lips. The impression of warmth and welcome had Daraja stepping forward, but she caught herself. No, this isn't right. I'm not here. I'm in the Osiris. This is a trick. Who who are you? Daraja asked. Who are you? The woman replied in the liquid tones of her country of birth. You are not Nigerian. Daraja shook her head. You are not a woman. You are not even human. You're. Who are you? The woman repeated. Daraja swallowed. She felt something sharp in her throat. It was as if she'd eaten glass and it was sticking there. Was that the warm gush of blood going down her throat? My mind is playing tricks, Daraja murmured. Why could I not imagine my mother or grandmother? I do not know you. Who are you? The woman asked again. Don't you know? You're in my head. Daraja laughed rather hysterically, but it sounded more like a dry rasp to her own ears. Who are you? Daraja grimaced. Did her face crack again? Was there pain, blood? Did she feel the trickle of it over her chin? Was she icing over or crystallizing over like the cool? I want to live, Daraja said. I want to keep on. I told Jace to go forward and be at peace with what happens to me. I want that for him. But I want to keep going on. I want to be a part of this adventure. It is too soon for it to end. She felt a touch on her left cheek. Her head snapped up as she realized the woman was directly in front of her. She had a hand on Daraja's cheek. Her eyes, black as the crystal, were searching Daraja's face. Who are you? She repeated. Are you the crystal? Daraja asked. The ringing was gone. The hum was gone. It was just the voice asking her over and over again who she was. A voice made up of all her ancestors, but none of them at all. Are you the crystal? Daraja asked again. Who are you? She grimaced. Was this simply a crazy hallucination? Or was this the crystal? She had to assume it was, but how to reach it? How to explain who she was, who they were, what they wanted, and what they hoped the crystal would help them with? We took you from your home, Darajan murmured. We broke you from your family. We thought you weren't sentient. We thought. Who are you? She grimaced. Words weren't working. The crystal didn't speak this way, didn't communicate by words. She thought of how it had reached out to her in images. If that's what this was, she concentrated on trying to show who she was. She looked up in the sky and let out a gasp of pleasure. Earth hung there, no longer in a red sky, but in the black vastness of space, spinning. The woman looked up. This is why we need your help. Why so many need your help, Daraja said. They are known as the cool. They use us as food and a method to grow their young. They are cruel. They would hunt us to oblivion. Daraja concentrated, and the hive appeared out of the gate. The drop ships, seeds, left the ship and dropped down onto Sunrise. All of this she knew from the Osiris's databanks. What happened when they came to Earth, how they swarmed the town, what they did to the people, what they planned to do to all the people. She let it play out in front of them. The woman did not ask who she was anymore, but watched in silence. Jace, bloodied and frail, so frail, then called Metal Rain, which ended the conflict as he fainted in Khoth's arms. We repelled them with the help of a very special young man. But he cannot defeat them on his own. He needs help. So he called for it, she explained. The world spun until it showed her seeing patience in her practice, her smiling at her young patients who feared needles that contained life-saving vaccines, or drying tears and offering a sweet to the now smiling child, the parents thanking her, or going home at the end of the day to her home where she fixed a solitary meal and checked her email, and finding the email from Jace. I would have said that my life was full to overflowing. I was respected and needed. I was well regarded with many friends and colleagues. But there was something missing, she said. She watched as her whole attitude changed as she read that initial email. And then they had been connected. She saw the malaise that had affected her unknowingly for so long fall away, and a much younger woman appeared. Adventure, hope, joy, excitement, a new frontier. She watched as her eyes went to the pictures of her children, how proud she was of them, but she had to go. Not even for them would she stay. The siren song of going to where no one had gone before called her. The siren song of belonging to something greater. The siren song of being a part of history. I have never felt so part of something than I do now, she told the woman who slowly turned her head to Daraja. In such a short time, the people that are so different from me, I have finally found the place I belong, she said. Who am I? I am Dr. Darasha Isa, head of physical medicine aboard the Osiris, and proud member of pilot Jace Parker's crew. I am here to stop the cool. I am here to find new frontiers. I am to help humanity go forward. I am me. Who are you? The woman nodded. Daraja felt her heart speed up. This was the first real connection the woman had made with her. She put her hand over the hollow at the base of Daraja's throat, and in a voice that was her own and others, the woman said, Now I am part of you. And that is the end of chapter 138. Okay. Good God. I know this is like a bit. I'm like going, sorry, I'm scrolling back to what you guys said. Um, everyone's like, I feel itchy. I feel like it's like, oh my God, no. Yeah, that's one fancy suit. I do love suits that retract into discs or chips. So cool. I've used this twice, once in the abyss and once here because it's too cool an idea. And honestly, no having to find place in a closet. I'm gonna give her and Jason a hug too, Lily. It really is a difficult situation. I think that it was like, what would it be like? Do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys watched The Next Generation, where, and I can't think of her name, but she was actually before Worf, she was the head of security, a blonde woman, and she was actually killed. And I felt it was like they didn't make her death impactful at all, although she did come back later and it was good and everything like that. But I mean, because she didn't want to be just, I mean, and here's the ironic part, I don't think she really did hardly any other movie roles or television. Um, but I would say that I was like, that was a part of what was like in the back of my mind, like this would be, if you're meeting with aliens, there would be um it would be to such an extent that quite frankly that you would have an experience like this where how would you communicate with them and how would you be able to respond and do this kind of stuff, and how would we're assuming that there's some kind of mutual genuine understanding of wanting to continue on going on. So that's what this was all about. I love it. She was like, everyone gets a hug, so we all get infected. Yay! Oh, you're crying? Oh my God. I mean, I know. Don't go, don't go, don't go. I know. I think it is actually trying to understand, but I think that we have to imagine that this thing is not even carbon based. And so its understanding of individuality and its understanding of health and I mean, it would just, you could be hurting something inadvertently simply because you were so different. How you communicate, how your very physical presence could cause issues for somebody. And that's sort of what we have here. Um, anyway, it's just like, yeah. Um, it really and truly, like, definitely just knowing that it was so alien and so different, because I think I made the still and the Versed, even though they were very alien, like the still are totally like the predators, and and then I made the Versed definitely like the xenomorphs. Even though they were very different, they still had something we could relate to, I think. Um, I'm so glad that you think this. So, oh, this is such a good chapter. The descriptions are so fantastically vivid, just as it played out for Dr. I could be a lot, I could as well, which was um oh yeah, I also did use it again for that Lily. But I mean, it was just like I wanted to see how could we make it like 2001 without making it boring, but also get across the sheer alienness of the crystal and how this could go terribly wrong, even in their attempt to help Dr. Isa, because they are. She's explained what is happening. And so the crystal's like, okay, yeah, this sounds good. We can totally save all you would just make you into us. So it sounds good. Yeah. Um, I did. I love it. I continue to look at I continue to use it. It's just and you guys know I'm using it, so it's like a little Easter egg. Yes, it was mine when it was 2. So Fluff, you did not come late. I was late, and actually, so we've actually done this about an hour. So this was like, yeah, yeah. Oh, what does that base thing mean? Yeah, I know. It's a really good question. So next chapters we do learn a bit more, and yeah, it's going to be sort of exciting to go into Daraj's arc for a while here as we're going to go forward. I'm really sorry I was late tonight. As I said, I am I thank you so much for understanding. Um, I'm going to try to make it so that this doesn't happen again, but it can happen. Life gets in the way um, of our good times, but it's all right. We have lots more to come. Um, I want to say also that for those of you who are interested, just a reminder that the Kickstarter is going to be closing soon against our will, but it is closing. And that for those of you who have got at least a digital goodie bag, I did not get a extra chapter out this week. I'm almost done with it. It's just such a massive chapter with Grayson and Ryder. I'm telling you, there's a little like sexy, like sort of, I want to say bestiality, but it's not going to go full bestiality. Don't worry. This happening that I'm writing, so I had to get them there. So it's really interesting. So that's going to come up on Friday. So that'll be tomorrow. Anyway, I really appreciate guys for everything, for you being here, especially when it's so much later than I thought. But I truly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the chapters. We will be meeting up next month, my friends, and it will already be freaking August. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. It's crazy. All right. Take care, you guys. Thank you so much. And we will talk later. I'm so sorry you were worried. Don't worry. Race and Rider next. Woo! All right. Take care, you guys. Bye.